where the victims of John's abuse must also idolize him. And they do idolize him, but not to the extent that Gordon believes that they will.
It is now my headcanon that Gordon has a little John Winchester wall in his car.
Oh, he probably does. He probably has a little crushy crush on John. Sam has arrived, and he is coming in the back door, as predicted, and poor Dean is forced to listen to what he thinks is his worst nightmare playing out as both explosions occur, and Dean just believes that Sam is dead for a second.
So that's a thing.
Dean has been mostly sitting still. He's been unhappy to be here, but he hasn't been actively trying to get up and escape, because, Gordon's been sitting here, cleaning guns and shit in front of him. But as soon as he thinks that Sam is dead, that's when he actually does try and get out. Because, he doesn't mind. If he gets killed trying to escape, it doesn't matter, because his only self-worth comes from Sam's well-being, and Sam might be dead.
And on that happy note...
There's an excellent shot of smoke coming out of Sam's boots. I love that. It was in Ava's dream vision as well, but I didn't mention it there, and I wanted to mention it here.
He lost his shoe.
He lost his shoe. And I just love that the rest of this episode occurs and Sam's not wearing any shoes. Gordon is still on high alert. He goes in gun ready, as he should be, because Sam's definitely not dead. Sam has a gun and he puts it to Gordon's head. He's just chilling back there with no shoes on, waiting for Gordon. Gordon says that Dean thinks that Sam is some kind of saint. And Sam says, don't be so sure about that. And Gordon's like, yeah, that's what I said. There's a fist fight and Sam goes through a wall. This home is so rickety and old and there's now been 2 explosions in it. I don't know how any part of this building is standing.
Luck.
Literally.
And stubbornness. And plot armor.
It's mostly plot armor. The room that Dean's in has no damage at all. Gordon pulls the same knife on Sam that we saw in the scene where Scott was killed. I just noticed that it was the exact same knife.
Fair enough. Good symmetry.
Yeah, and Gordon says Sam is no better than the things that they hunt, but Sam's not done yet. He hits Gordon and it kind of stuns him and he gets the gun, but Sam can't kill him, so he knocks him out with the gun, and he has a great line. He's just like, it's Sam, which I think is awesome. He unties Dean, but Sam tells Dean not to worry about Gordon, and they hustle out of there, and they run across the street to hide in some bushes as Gordon comes out, guns blazing after them, and Sam's like, trust me, it's gonna be fine. And then suddenly all of the police in Lafayette are here, and Gordon's arrested. And we gotta talk about this, because is Gordon an asshole? Yeah. Was he gonna kill them? Also yes. Is this still Sam, a white man, weaponizing police against Gordon, who is a black man? Yeah. And it's not...
Were the writers aware of that?
It's not that Gordon doesn't deserve this. It's that Sam made that call knowing very well that the outcome of very likely could be Gordon getting killed by the police.
Yeah, exactly. Gordon should have been arrested, but he still has, this other possibility of, getting killed. Yeah. And being treated harsher just because he's black.
Yeah, which Sam, as a pre-law student, is 100% aware of.
Yeah.
Also, these cops suck at their jobs. They search Gordon's car and they arrest Gordon, but they don't search the area to find the boys or anyone else. Gordon was actively shooting when they pulled up on him. They didn't. Right? They did not go to check, and someone could have been laying in the forest bleeding out back there, and they don't check.
Right? They should have.
They don't have any idea what was going on. They just pulled up and there was a man in the road firing a gun into the woods, and they did not go and check to see what he was shooting at.
No, obviously he's just shooting at nothing. We're gonna arrest him anyway.
So once again, this is the police should be fired at the moment.
Cops of Supernatural, everyone. They're doing great.
All of the cops and all of the security guards in Supernatural are bad at their jobs. Next scene is Sam sitting in the car like a kid whose dad has just picked them up from a party that got out of hand.
Yeah, I saw that was so funny.
He's just sitting there pouting. Meanwhile, Dean is on the phone screaming at Ellen that somebody over there blabbed, and Ellen insists that Ash and Joe would never, and once again, I think it was Joe. I think it was Joe, and I'm sorry. Ellen resents the implication that they are disloyal and says that there's a ton of hunters who could have put this together, and I'm not sure that that's true, given that the only other person besides Ellen, Ash, and Joe who they have ever told who's still alive is Andy. Everyone else who they've ever told about this special children stuff is dead. Max immediately died after they told him. John also died within a couple days, and also John would never have told anyone.
That is true.
And it's just yeah, Joe's been gone for a few weeks. She's friends with Gordon behind Ellen's back. That's who I would have called. I just think it has to be Joe.
All I could think of when, before you said that theory was I feel like a few times when they mentioned the special children thing, the bar wasn't completely empty.
Yeah,
and it was
that's the only other option.
Overheard, but your theory actually makes more sense. So I'm
When it comes to actually discussing saying like the Sam psychic stuff, in whatever episode that was that they sat them down, I think it was Simon Said, after they met Andy, Dean didn't even want to tell Ellen and Ash and Joe about Sam being a psychic. Dean literally was like looking at Ellen like he was very sure that Ellen was gonna shoot Sam on the spot. Like they were not. I definitely think that conversation happened when the bar was completely empty. I don't think Dean would have ever had that conversation where anyone could have heard them.
Yeah.
Like that whole conversation, he was like doing the math, like, can I take out Ellen, Ash, and Joe before any of them kill Sam? Like he was very, very not wanting to have that conversation. But yeah, like,
which is so funny because the three of them were like, yeah, okay, I guess. They were just so whatever.
Dean was overreacting though. It has to either be like Joe or someone in the bar overheard them, and I mean they do yell about crime in the streets all the time, but I don't think it would make sense. Ellen says that she can't control other hunters and she can't control what they believe about Sam or any of the other special children, so we don't have an answer there. Sam is trying to call Ava and can't get a hold of her. He's not super optimistic either about Gordon staying in prison. He's like, I feel like Gordon's gonna be a problem again in the future.
And guess what?
Dean's like, don't you ever run away like that again. And Sam's like, or what, you'll kill me? Which is fun. I'm glad that we've gotten, in less than an episode, we've gotten from like extreme rage to like making jokes about the situation. I'm glad we got there so quickly.
I feel like they're tired.
Yeah, we're not done having strong feelings about it, but I like that we've gotten to a place where we can laugh about it a little bit also. Dean, once again, for the second episode in a row, says he's sick of the job that he was so insistent a year ago Sam had forever betrayed them by leaving to go to college. He says they don't get paid or thanked, and the only thing that they've ever gotten from doing the job is bad luck. Sam insists that Dean was meant to be a hunter, and Dean says he doesn't believe in destiny, and Sam's like, you just don't believe in my destiny because you don't want to. And I tried running and it did not work, but thank you for trying anyways, I guess.
Fair enough.
And Sam's like, I'm facing whatever is waiting for me head on, so if you want to have my back, you better just like get used to this because we're not going anywhere. And then he's like, I still actually can't get a hold of Ava. Can we just go to Peoria? I don't know why I couldn't say it the first time. Anyway, he wants to go check on Ava. So they get to Ava's and her car is in the driveway, which I noticed. I don't know if I ever noticed that before, but her cute car is there.
So she made it home.
She did make it home. And Sam and Dean walk in and her fiance is super murdered. His throat is slashed and he definitely hit a major artery in the process. Like there is just blood everywhere. Dean finds sulfur on the windowsill, and Sam finds Ava's engagement ring, which is another indication that Ava was there because she was wearing it when Sam last saw her. And that's a fade to black, and put a pin in that for later because the episode's over.
That's nice.
Anyway, anyone else have anything they want to say about the episode before we get into the weekly segments and panels?
Not really.
Excellent.
One thing, did the Yellow-Eyed Demon just sprinkle sulfur on the windowsill? Does he do that for all his little home visits? I never see that again. We never see that again.
Maybe he had a little bit of extra and he was like, I'm just gonna sprinkle that on the windowsill, give the room a bit of a flare.
That's not true. We do see it again.
Okay.
When?
The season finale of season 2. They find sulfur.
Okay.
Okay.
So
but then after that, yeah.
I feel like, whether or not demons leave behind sulfur is a fluctuating thing depending what they need for the week.
Maybe most demons just carry around dustpans and some of them just don't care.
Something about demons is sulfury.
See? You get it.
But yeah, that's interesting. That's something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for now. On to some of our weekly segments and panels. Let's start with Total Death Count. This week we saw 2 deaths. We had Scott and Ava's fiance. I want to say his name's Brad, but I could be totally incorrect.
Sorry, Brad. Gone too soon.
I feel like we do learn his name at some point, but I didn't bother to look it up. I just went with my gut feeling of Brad.
I'm pretty sure it's Brad.
I feel like you're right.
That's the perfect name for to just die early. Fridged.
But that brought our on-screen total to 170. And then I think the on and off-screen total for this episode was 3. I'm gonna count that possessed girl that Gordon told us he killed. She could have been saved. And
she deserves
Gordon
better.
killed her. And that brings the on and off-screen total to 1,271.
Whoa!
That's
We're making progress,
yeah,
guys.
no, we probably made a big jump.
We did it, guys. I don't know what we did, but we did it.
We did Croatoan.
Yeah, Croatoan happened, and they took out an entire town.
That's right.
On to MVP of the week. Let's see who Jenn would like to nominate as this week's most valuable person.
Oh my goodness. Ava, Hello. My favorite.
Yeah, Ava did do a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, right? Like, she shows up, gives us some plot, also makes it a lot easier for Sam to survive because he has, a little sneak peek of what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's like looking for the tripwires, but he also like has a good idea that there's gonna be a tripwire there in the first place.
Exactly.
And Jordan, who would you like to nominate?
I also second Ava. Sam did nothing.
Okay, fair. I'm gonna argue on Sam's behalf, but I do agree Ava was very helpful. And Meredith.
I was kind of caught between Sam and Ava. Like, I feel like they both did stuff, and Ava was, like, really instrumental.
You can half and half it if you want. There's no rules against that.
Awesome. Let's break some rules that don't exist.
I went with Sam also, but I am totally down. I definitely acknowledge that Sam definitely could have died without Ava. Ava's intervention.
I just like Ava because I have a crush on her.
That's also extremely valid.
Understandable.
My best friend looks exactly like her. I think I told you that in another episode.
I think you did, and I cut it. I love Ava. I think she's super cute, and I think she was very helpful in this episode. And hope she's okay.
She was in 2 episodes of Psych.
Oh, that's fun. Anyway, this week, case of the week was... Oh, wait, no, we didn't do Bechdel test. Back up to Bechdel test. I mean, the reason that I skipped over it so easily, because this episode didn't pass.
Yep.
We had depressing. 2 women. We had Ellen and we had Ava.
So surprised.
But Ellen and Ava had no contact with one another, so that was a no.
This really sucks. They should have.
At the time of recording, the most recent episode to drop is Simon Said, season 2, episode 5, and it broke a 15-episode failure streak on the Bechdel test.
Oh, Eric.
It was the first episode to pass the Bechdel test since Faith. And even then, it was, like, barely. It was, like, the one scene. It was the scene where Dean tells Ellen and Joe and Ash about Sam being a psychic. Like, that was the scene that, that ended the streak.
This is really sad.
It was real bad. This show has been struggling. Anyway, moving on. This week's Case of the Week was the Special Children, and Gordon was the other big plot. Does anyone have anything that they want to say about any, like, stuff there?
I have nothing. I didn't do any research. In the future, maybe we could do, like, a 2-minute thing where I just drop random trivia instead.
I am always down for trivia, but anyway, on to highlight and low light of the episode. Let's start with Jordan.
Highlight of the episode, probably, I mean, I do like, Sam finally getting some revenge, but I just like the appearance of Ava, how she saves the day, and I love how she talks to him like, you people are crazy. She's the first person to really talk to them like, oh, most people would not react this way.
And she's right.
Yeah.
Low light, Sam stealing Baby.
Aww.
Did he steal Baby? I thought he
Baby.
stole the car next to Baby.
That's right. He stole the car right next to him. Well, like him leaving Dean in the middle of the night. That's another episode. I'm getting confused with.
There was a vintage blue car beside Baby, and Sam likes blue cars.
It was a very nice car, either way.
Fair.
Yeah, it was nice. Jen, how about you?
Let's see. Highlight, also Ava. I really liked her as a character. I think it's fun. A couple of other times we've had characters get, like, introduced to the world of the supernatural, and they freak out, and it's usually, like, very negative freaking out, but I think her was the first one where it was like, this is crazy! Wow, this is awesome! So it was kind of like a fun contrast. And then lowlight is probably, I would say, Scott getting stabbed. While it was a great song usage by, I believe, Jefferson Airplane, that song there, I would have liked to know a little bit more about Scott and a lot of the other special children in general. So, R.I.P. Scott, gone too soon.
Yeah. And Meredith.
So my highlight was the opening scene. I thought Scott was really interesting, and I thought, like, the music was amazing. It just lent so much to the scene. And my low light was also Scott getting stabbed. It's just all that potential. It also, like, Gordon did that thing where he, like, kind of slit his stomach after he stabbed it. I thought that was a bit much.
It's a lot, yeah. A little overkill.
You were a cat killer and you needed help, but, you could have gotten that help instead of dying.
Yeah. My low light is that I have minorly now convinced myself that Joe betrayed our boys, and I'm sad about it. And my highlight is also the Sam versus Ava reactions to all of the scary occurrences in this episode. I just think that was a great dynamic. They did such a good job.
We needed more Ava on this show.
Yeah. I mean, we do have to find out what happens to her eventually, but that's not this week. Our next segment is Call CPS. None of this episode gave me good vibes about John's parenting, but then, you know, nothing ever does. But I don't have anything I can really specifically be mad about. I mean, I already talked a lot about my feelings about John putting the secret on Dean, but like, they're adults. There's only so much we can do. So let's just move on to the mental health check. I have a lot to say here, so this will be our like mythology section of the